Welcome to Soccer Talk, a podcast about soccer, mostly in Iowa, presented by Kick It Forward. Kick It Forward is a positive disruptor to the Iowa soccer community.
Thanks to our sponsors, Scott Insurance Services and Michael Keener, Attorney at Law. You need legal help, you need insurance help, those are the two to contact.
That's right. Welcome to the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. Welcome to Soccer Talk. I'm Ben Brackett, your co-host with my good pal, Blake Sievers. Siebes, what's up, dude?
Ben, always good to be back in the studio with you. Got some sad news on the studio front, isn't it? Our co-tenants are exiting here at the end of the week.
Oh, I didn't know that was the case, but now my heart aches.
Or it doesn't, because we won't be kicked out of our own studio. We won't be having any spot to park in, because now we'll be able to drive right up to the door again.
Well, that's a good point. You know, you win some, you lose some. I think, are we winning some?
I think we will on Saturday morning at 12:01 when they're out.
Good point. And today, on to be specific, we do have a live studio audience here. They've been very good sports, though. They gave us some good fan questions, which we love.
Yeah, and our guest, I think
he loved them too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we've got our buddy Scott Caldwell on the show today. Scott's a player for the New England Revolution and also volunteers for Project Goal out there, and is going to be helping us out with the Mini Pitch Initiative. We know Scott for all sorts of reasons, but it's a little near and dear to my heart because one of my college teammates is his older brother. So I've known this guy for a while. Super cool young guy, good player, great player, and just supportive of the project. So we're excited and pumped to go play with him here next spring, I hope.
Yeah, I mean,
Mini Pitch.
You want to talk about like a career, right? I mean,
yeah,
national champion in the college game. I would say like a wily
old
MLS veteran now. Like
this.
Yeah. Made it to an MLS Cup.
Yeah, super cool. Well, why don't we'll let him tell the story. How about instead of you? Geez, Blake. Let's get to it. All right, Scott Caldwell, welcome to the pod. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Ben.
We're excited to have you. Our boy Blake here just stepped away for one moment, but normally he asks the first question, so I don't want to steal his thunder. That's his big. You've probably already listened to a few of our episodes, though, right?
I've listened to a couple, yeah.
So you know what the first question is going to be?
I don't know.
He skips ahead.
Fast forward.
I've listened to like bits and pieces of Jeff's episodes in the past.
Fair enough.
All right, so this is probably the most difficult question you'll get today. Is this the first pod you've ever been on?
It's not, no.
Oh, we got experience.
Yeah.
See, all these MLS guys have experience. Well, how many pods have you been on these days, Scotty?
Just a couple, yeah, not too many.
Fair enough. Well, experience, we like that. Thanks for taking time today to chat with us. Obviously, we're here to talk about the Mini Pitch project in Rhode Island with Project Goal, but why don't you just quick bring us up to date? How are things going with the Revs? And you guys just got out of the bubble here somewhat recently, and it seems like it's been kind of a weird season with games getting postponed here and there. And
it's been a really, really unique year for everyone, obviously, but just our season, we've been playing well as of late, getting some results, a little bit up and down overall, but we're sitting middle of the table, hoping to rise up a couple spots in the remaining 6 games of the regular season. Like you said, though, it's been weird. Games across the league have been postponed. Who knows, when they'll be able to be rescheduled, given the timetable and what the current playoff situation is looking like. It's a situation that every team might have to go through, but you hope you don't. And it's something that we're, hoping that it doesn't happen to us, but you never really know. So guys just trying to stay diligent on all that.
Are you guys playing? Have you played any games in front of fans at all yet this year?
We have not, no.
Okay.
I think we have one coming up in the next few games. I think Nashville is allowing fans, so we'll be down there in another week or so.
We talked about with Julian and Jeff a little bit. How is it playing with no fans in the stands from the bubble that closed now?
Yeah, it's interesting. The bubble was completely different than now because that was like you're in this place where everyone kind of knew what to expect, and that all the teams were going to be in one spot, which is different. But the game itself, while you felt like they mattered, they were a part of the season. It almost felt like a little bit of a preseason game, the way it was set up and the way that teams kind of get together in the preseason.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. It seemed like they did a lot of really cool stuff to make, at least from a visual standpoint, to make those tiny little, youth venues essentially look like they were a pro venue. That being said, like how did that feel as a player, right? Because like in a big stadium, you're still in a big stadium, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is for real.
Yeah, I mean, we still knew, like, obviously the preparation, the attitude going into games, you knew it was for real, and you knew how important the games were. But it did feel a little bit different. It felt like it was more of I don't want to say less pressure because you knew how much the games mattered, but there was no fans. And currently there's still no fans, but it's later into the season. You're in each team's, for the most part, each team's stadium. So it feels a little bit more like the regular season minus the fans, which we all miss.
And so, I mean, I'll go back a little bit. You went and played at Akron. You guys they've had a pretty good following student-wise.
You guys would have like thousands of people in your game, right?
Yeah, when we were doing well.
Yeah. So yeah, talk about like the last time you played in front of, basically nobody. It's been a decade plus, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You'll know some guys though across the league, like myself included. Like last year, although the games wouldn't matter, but if you're out of the squad, you're out of the rotation, you'll be playing games sometimes. The day after against a college team or a youth team to kind of get yourself to 90 minutes. So we've played games like that, although those don't matter. I've been involved.
I bet you there are still people there. Are there people there watching those games?
There might be like parents, yeah, there might be some people, but you kind of have to take those the same way. You got to take them as if you want to be on the field. So they all mean the same.
Well, just for contrast, my Sunday league final was just the other day, and it was the most fans or people I've played in front of since I was maybe 22.
How'd you guys do?
We won, but
all right, of course.
There were 200 people there.
Ben didn't get the nod though. He came on as a center back substitute.
Center back sub.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I got a full 45 though, so it wasn't like just like a late cameo.
Okay, all
right. So I think it'd be fun to talk a little bit about your youth career, Scotty, because you obviously growing up in New England and being a part of a huge soccer family. I guess maybe not everybody knows. You're younger than Amy, aren't you? You're the youngest Caldwell, but arguably the most successful. I'm sure Amy would have something to say about that, but at this point, I think you can probably.
Keith too.
Oh no!
He'll have an argument. He'll come up with some way.
He'll have an argument. See if he gets anywhere with it though. But so growing up, you guys and your father was a professional as well, right? So soccer's like in your family 100%. So growing up, like just talk a little bit about what it was like, and where you were playing, whether it's organized or not. Like what was it like growing up?
Yeah, I consider myself super lucky to grow up in the family I did in terms of soccer and everything else. But my dad was always like a youth coach for my older siblings and myself, and I was around the game since I could walk. I was always going to, whether it be Keith's, Andrea's, or Amy's soccer practices, town club, high school, college. Like I was always there at the soccer field, always had a ball at my foot. And so I kind of grew to love the game just by being around it. And my older siblings, we were always, whether it be in the house, in the basement, out in the front and backyard, we were always playing one-on-one, especially Amy and myself, which was like a huge, one of us always ended up crying. One of us always walked off as the winner. So it was
clear that Amy's super athletic and very fast. So, and you're like a fairly small guy. So it's probably a good matchup, right? Like
it was a great matchup. Yeah, like she's 2 years older than me. We were probably the same size growing up until a certain age. You know, maybe I was 15, 16 when I finally but she was still probably faster than me until a couple of years ago. So,
he's come on here lately.
Yeah, Scotty's been working in the gym on his quickness.
Yeah, she might still be, but we'll see. But overall, it was just so competitive within our family, but it was all for good. Like we pushed each other and made each other better, and it was a lot of fun. And that's kind of how I got into the game. You know, aside from obviously training in games with my teams, but also playing within the family and going to their practices and joining in. Especially, you know, here and there, I got to join into Keith's, whether it be his high school or once I came into the spring and got to battle with you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you remember when you came and played in the gym with us, because are you 6 years younger than Keith?
Yeah, 7 years younger than Keith. So
Scotty shows up as like a 14, 15
give some background. So this is
Brown.
Sorry. So Brown.
Sorry. Okay, so Scotty's you're from Braintree. You're just outside of Boston.
Yes,
so
yeah.
We were down. Your older brother and I were down at school, just down the road in Providence at Brown, and so he came down in the spring, and like 15 years old, playing probably younger than that. You're probably 14. Playing with all 19, 20, 21-year-olds, and probably was the best player on the field. You wouldn't say that, but I'm pretty sure you were, Scott. Like, I remember walking off.
No chance.
I'm like, but you're like, what? Who's this kid? Because you're not athletic at that point. You're not, like, super flashy. You were just, like,
did one of your sisters play at least?
She played at Boston College, and then she was at the national team, wasn't she?
I thought there was.
Yeah, she was a youth national team player, played at BC. They had a really successful 4 years when she was there. My other sister played at Simmons College in Boston as well. But yeah, that was a blast. I remember that. I remember going to Brown and playing. I don't remember all that you're saying, but it was still a great time, good experience.
You're probably going to remember just the 3 or 4 times you gave the ball away or something like that, or, you know, getting made fun of.
Getting kicked or thrown off the field, pushed around. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, those were some good battles back in the day for sure. And so now you've been with the Revs for how long now?
This is my 8th season.
You're like an only a Revs guy, right? You didn't play anywhere else?
Yeah, correct. I mean, it was just such a great situation for me. It continues to be. It's a team I grew up watching. You know, I can't really imagine. I know it's cliche, but like, you can't imagine playing for someone else when you grew up supporting the club and been able to stay with them for so long.
So Scott, talk about you. So in high school, you go to Akron, have success there. Talk briefly kind of about that, and then the transition, how you ended up in New England.
Yeah. So the year before I went to the University of Akron, I graduated high school early, so I had a little bit of a gap year, a 6-month period where I was recovering from an injury, and I was fortunate enough that was the time when the Revolution Academy program started. And it's so
like
different.
Right at the beginning, right?
Right, the first year that all those academies were starting up. So it's so different than how it is now. I couldn't
This
even.
is the first year of the DA. Is that what you're talking?
I think so. Yeah, I believe so. It was probably. This had to have been 12, 13 years ago, right when it was starting up. And so I was fortunate enough to be able to join that first team and play, because the rules are different. I was able to play 6 games through that season since I was going off to college. And just the consistent training when I wasn't at college, and then going to Akron my freshman year in the spring semester, and then every summer being able to come back and train with the Revs first team. It was just such a huge, it was so important for my transition to eventually playing with the first team, being able to train with them each year in the summer.
Yeah, it was very unique. So essentially you were signed as a senior in high school going into your freshman year as just a homegrown player, right? So like they just have your rights at that point?
So they kind of have your rights, but you don't sign anything. I don't know the details back then or even now how it fully works, but because I was a local guy and trained,
I bet you keep that.
Yeah, because I was training with them and got the necessary hours or whatever you got to say, and grew up in a certain distance and played games with them. Then they were able to, when I graduated college, they were able to sign me as a homegrown.
Okay, fair enough. So talk about just quick about Akron. I mean, because like you were there at the height of the program, playing for one of the, the best college coaches of that time for sure. You were captain of the team, but also we're playing with like a bunch of studs. So like give some of the listeners some context, like what was going on there.
Yeah. So my freshman year, I jumped into a team that was already one of the best in the country. And I guess I didn't really fully understand it as I was going there, how good some of these guys were. But I guess you can say that the team was so competitive within each other. The inner competition within the team was so great that it helped all of us get better. My freshman year, I barely played. And then I was able to really get a spot on the team my sophomore year. But we had guys that were on the bench that are still playing professionally both years.
Feel free to drop some names. We like name dropping.
Yeah. So my
drop Iowa like Iowa guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of that. We had Midwest guys, but I don't know if we had anyone from Iowa. But you guys will know once I drop the names.
Definitely know Iowa players.
So my freshman year, the starting lineup was David Mavis in goal. He's a Chicago guy. Right back, Chris Korb from Ohio. Right center back, and he went on to play at DC for a while. Right center back, Chad Barson of Ohio. Left center back, Zarek Valentine of Pennsylvania, but still playing. Still playing with Houston now. Right back was Kofi Sarkodie. Left back was Chris Korb. And then the middle was Blair Gavin, Ben Zemansky, who all played. Anthony Ampai-Patakowan, Michael Nanchoff, Darlington Nagbe, Teal Bunbury. So all of those guys went on to play. And we had 3, 4, or 5 guys on the bench that eventually found our way onto the field and then played as well.
How'd you guys finish that first year?
We lost in penalties in the national final.
To
University of Virginia.
So you eventually righted that wrong though, didn't you, Scott?
Yeah, the next year we were able to win the championship. But
you in the
arguably the first year, I'll do the lineup again. But the first year we were the better team. We were the best team that I had been a part of. We were 23-0-0 going into College Cup.
Wow.
And then tied and won in penalties in the semis, and then lost in penalties in the final. So the next year it was David Mavis in goal again, Kofi Sarkodie on the right. Backline was unchanged, I think. Then it was
your boys will let you know if it got changed.
They'll definitely let me know if I forget. A few people left. So Blair, Gavin, Ben Zemansky, and Teal Bunbury all left to play professionally after that year. So we had the same back line of Kofi, Chad, Zarek, and Chris Korb. The midfield now, Perry Kitchen came into that as a freshman into the, kind of the holding role.
Where's he now? He's playing somewhere.
Perry is at LA Galaxy right now. He's been around. He was in DC for a while, went over to Scotland, played at Hearts. Now he's back.
Yeah.
Then I was in on usually like the right side, Anthony Ampai-Patakowan, Michael Nanchoff. Then up top was Darren Maddox and Darlington Nagbe.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Who's Darlington's incredible, as I'm sure you guys know.
I've just heard
they all are, to be honest, but
I've just heard so many people talk about Darlington Nagbe as just like, like kind of incomparable to most players they play with, and just sort of like an unassuming, humble guy, but just like so good.
Yeah, that's right. In all ways, he's so good.
I mean, think about that. His roles changed.
Yeah, he went from scoring goals, right?
Striker
to like a holding possession midfielder.
He could play anywhere on the field and still be the best player on the field.
Is that guy?
And then we still had other guys on the bench. And I know I'm not gonna be able to name the whole roster, but guys that played professionally. I mean, Ben Spees, Eric Stevenson. Well, Ben Spees actually is a good story. He from Akron, Ohio. He won the national championship with us that year. Transferred to UNC and scored the game winner the next year for UNC and won it. And then And then he's been playing professionally. I think he's in North Carolina now since. So
Yeah.
a lot of players.
What was it like playing for Caleb Porter?
It was good. I learned a lot. He's just a passionate, competitive guy on and off the field, and he really helped, in game preparation, team management. He was a really good coach.
So he recruited you, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. Okay. He and Jared Embick, who's the current head coach at Akron, I spoke to them a lot, but I knew the guys going to Akron, and kind of we mutually reached out to see if it would work.
I'm just curious how that. Sorry, Ben, to jump in. I'm just curious how, because you build a pretty good relationship with your college coach, and then now is he in Portland?
Yeah. Has he given you a call yet?
Yeah. I was like, what does that mean?
He's in Columbus now.
Columbus. Okay. But he's was in Portland at some point, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is it going playing against him now?
Oh, it's fun. Anytime we get to have a chance to play against them, yeah, it's enjoyable. Always hope you come out on the right end of it.
What's it like playing now for, kind of a legend in Bruce Arena? Not kind of, an absolute legend in Bruce Arena. I mean, that must be, because he's kind of, God, I can't say this maybe, but like he's got to be at the end of his career, right? Like he can't be doing
that. You'd have to ask him. I don't know.
So you want to break some news?
Okay, so let me ask you this. How old is Bruce Arena?
Oh, I don't know. He's still great. He's still a great coach and still got everything going. I could throw a number that I think, but I'd be probably wrong. And I don't really care, because he's a good coach and gets the team ready for games.
It must be such an interesting experience to play for that type of, like, that level of a coach. He's coached in the World Cup. He's won countless MLS Cups.
Absolutely. I mean, you can draw on his experience in so many different ways. He's such a good team manager, player manager. He gets staff around him, and everyone is just, in terms of game preparation and getting guys ready. And he's always giving these little like tidbits of his experience here and there, and just different ways to get you ready and to learn from his experience.
Must be cool. Yeah. So then where was I going to go with this? We were going to talk about Project Goal.
Yeah, I'm just like, we kind of talked about your youth. Just talk about, you obviously had a family full of soccer players. And I don't know the answer, so this could be a dangerous question, but how often did you guys just go play, find a spot to play? / were there spots to play in where you're from and whatnot, and kind of how it relates to the mini pitch project?
So I was fortunate to have 3 older siblings that always had practices. So I would honestly, I'd play a lot, but I had those practices to go to. So I was fortunate where I could jump. My dad was the coach of Andrea and Amy. So, if I had soccer practice 2 nights a week, but they also had it 1 or 2 nights a week that I wasn't training, I could go jump in there. In Braintree, there wasn't really another place, there were school fields available, but nothing quite like a mini pitch that you could go out down the street and just play with your friends. That would have to be at a school or a yard, but that wasn't always available. And it's something that I think, our town could have benefited from, but we had the fields available. Something that Central Falls, having a mini pitch available there, is going to do so much for the community and the kids growing up there. It gives them, another space available for them to just leave home and go play some soccer with their friends, pickup, because that's where you can learn the most playing pickup compared to, obviously you want to listen to your coaches and learn from training sessions, but you can learn a lot about yourself and ways to improve individually during a pickup game.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially a lot of times you get thrown in with, players that are older or better or whatever, hopefully.
Yeah. That's a great point.
So talk about Project Goal. You guys, the Revs, have volunteered with Darius and his group for a while now, right?
Yeah, there's always like a small partnership between the Revs and Project Goal. As of late, the last 3 or so years, I've this year, a little different. I've done a lot of, a few virtual videos, but I've tried to get involved more, going there, every few months, seeing the kids, talking to them, not really helping them academically as much, although that's a big part of the program. They have teachers for that can help them there. But joining in the soccer afterwards, whether it be in giving them pointers or just jumping into a little mini 5-a-side game in the gym. It's great to go see them and see all the kids, having a great time. The program itself is incredible. What they provide to the kids of Central Falls, being able to not only have a safe place for them to learn and to make sure they're doing their schoolwork, but also to play soccer. It's really great. And I'm sure everyone that attends, I'm sure they love the experience.
You're the third guy now. I'm the outsider. I don't know much about Project Goal, but like the academic side is one piece that club soccer misses out on completely, I think. And you all this organized pay to play, you can get terrible grades or fail, and the club side of it, most of them have no clue. I don't want to say don't care, but they just don't invest in that. And I think that's what a Project Goal does, something a little different that
captures that.
Yeah, because if you don't get good grades, right, you're not going to play at any higher level than you can't even play in high school. So
yeah, no, it's huge. And the academics for me, I was fortunate enough to, I don't want to say be a good student, but I guess I put time into it to make sure that I could to get to college. And it's so important for kids at all ages, especially at that important development age that they're in, to realize how important the academics are and to take them the next step.
You had 3 older siblings that kind of led the way a little bit. So like if you hadn't been a diligent student, you would have just gotten crushed, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The older siblings for sure played a role there.
Yeah. Well, and that's fortunate. I love it though. So, okay. So now talking about the mini pitch, like, I don't know if I should probably say this yet, but I'm feeling pretty confident that we're going to be celebrating kind of an unveiling at some point soon enough. So let's say you get to have your 5-a-side squad down there. They get to hop on and they'll play against the kick it forward squad that's going to come in from out of town. Who are your top 5? Let's say first just your Revs 5, and then we've got some other kind of fun questions.
All time, yeah, like the Revs that you've played with from day one.
All-time Revs team. Your all-time Revs team.
All right. You gave me a little warning about this, but not really enough. I should have had this planned.
Don't worry, nobody's gonna listen.
All right, I'm gonna leave off a few guys. I'll hear about it, I'm sure, but
that's gonna be an awkward right tomorrow.
No, I'm not gonna tell anyone on the current team about this podcast.
Great! So you're gonna share it on social media. Great.
For a couple. Oh, they don't look at my social media. Those guys. No, so all right, I'm gonna start in the back. Oh, this is tough.
Come on, Scotty.
Right, I'm gonna start.
Like tactics play a role. Like, go ahead and then we'll ask the next question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Jose Goncalves.
Okay.
He was I think it was my first 2 and 3 years. He was just a center back, just a hard tackling leader in the back. Really good both sides of the ball. I think he was MLS Defender of the Year one of those years. So very, very good.
Got to add some skill to the team. I like it. Make up for you.
Yeah. Oh, so am I in this squad?
I would hope so. Maybe not.
Are you good enough?
I can tell you I would not be in my top 5, but if I am considered one of those 5, or if it's a 6-a-side, then I'll build my team around me.
I think you should build your team around you, Scott.
Okay, perfect. So next, another guy would be Jermaine Jones. Okay. At his peak, the first year he joined us, he helped us lead us to the MLS Cup, which we ultimately lost in 2014. But Jermaine Jones, really hard, athletic, game changer.
He's a beast.
Yeah. And then I'll say.
I love it.
So am I one of 5 or one of 6?
No, you're one of 5. So
that might make it easier for me. I'll say Lee Wynn, who actually just joined our team again.
Yeah.
And then Carles Hill, who is on our team, currently out injured. We hope to have him back at some point. So
what was his name?
Carles Hill. Gil.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah.
I didn't know that's how you pronounced it.
He's
been around for a while, right?
He's been with us the last couple of years.
He's pretty tricky. He's an American player, right?
Carles is he is from Spain.
Okay, so no, because there's a Gil that was like younger.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yes,
Yeah.
not him. Not him. Yep.
So what do you immediate question that comes to my mind is like, are you playing sweeper keeper? Clearly.
Yeah, who's the sweeper keeper?
They're like,
wait. Is there a sixth person as a goalie?
But there doesn't
what are
have
you
to
doing?
be. It's just
tactics.
tactics.
Oh man, I'm gonna take myself out of the lineup and put Matt Turner in at goal.
So you are going to play with a
Oh,
goalkeeper.
so-
I'm gonna play with a goalkeeper, and
I
Matt's
thought you had
feet.
more confidence,
Matt's feet have gotten a lot better, especially in the last year. That he can, if he needs to, he can be that sweeper keeper. We're gonna be a hard team to play against in the back, and then creative in the front.
I love
real
it.
creative, yeah.
Analysis.
I love it. Okay, so then Blake's been mining the field for fan questions. So we actually got a couple.
First time ever.
Yeah. So feel lucky, Scott.
I don't believe you guys, but sure.
Promise.
Yeah.
We have a live audience, which is not the first time ever, but
Yeah, that's true.
some have come from there.
Katie Naughton.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. She
So
did.
okay, you're second.
Second.
All right.
Lindsay
So
Graham.
this is not very original, but best player that you've played with in your career and against is who?
Ooh, I've already named a couple of the guys that I played with at with the Revolution. I'd say, prior to that, Darlington Nagby at Akron. He and Blair Gavin were really top players in college.
I'm guessing I know who the best player played against was, but I'm not sure. I'll let you say, and then I'm gonna ask you if. why
Okay,
not else.
I'm gonna throw a couple in there. I'm gonna give one because you asked for one, so I'm gonna be strong in my answer. Thierry Henry.
That's fair.
So he was.
Yeah,
Why are you laughing? That's
Because he's
okay. Yeah, he's all right.
yeah. So he actually, there's a clip of him just throwing me to the ground in one play. But
you got to find out for this like social media.
Oh yeah, we're gonna find that.
But you couldn't if you got too tight to him, he'd just push the ball by you and run. If you got too far away, he could pick out any pass, that he wanted to. So he was a really, really good player.
He's a physical
and,
specimen too, right? He's like, what is he, like 6'3"?
Yeah.
He's a tall.
And now I'm actually tomorrow night. So he manages Montreal Impact. So tomorrow night
Say
I'll
hi
get
to him. We'll be like, "What's up, TT?"
Maybe if we win, we'll see. Yeah. So Giovinco was another guy that
That was what I was gonna say, Scott.
I knew you were thinking that because there's another viral clip that you could attach to that. So, but yes. Giovinco, I'll label as a little bit less because it's tough though because he's not
Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry's like the
he's not Thierry Henry, but he was still pretty magical and could score from anywhere. He could dribble you if you got.
He's pretty tricky.
That's one good word. You can say lucky or you can say tricky. Depends on how you want to label the viral video that you're going to post. I'm sure.
Oh, God, I love it.
Where is he at now? Do you guys know? I mean, he left MLS a few years ago to go.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Don't know. That's good stuff, though, Scott. I love it. So in closing,
there's two more. Yeah,
there's more questions.
Yeah, real quick.
Love this.
This is interesting. I think is a better one. The most underrated, however, like you define underrated player that you played with and against. I mean, like to me, Darlington Nagby is
probably
still
underrated,
but
that's tough because underrated. You're gonna forget about a few guys.
It's too tough for him.
I'll give you a couple that
you could really take the piss and just name Caldwell as one of them. He's pretty underrated, I'd say.
I'll give you one from, just guys that have been on our team for a long period of time that aren't always going to get praised, but are just consistently good and solid are Andrew Farrell in the back. And, he comes to play every single game. And then Teal Bunbury as well. So guys
those are definitely guys who don't get a lot of plaudits necessarily, but obviously they've been playing for a long time at a high level and been contributors.
Yeah, exactly.
Contributors.
All right, last one. This is a good one too. The most popular person that you have met.
Is this popular to him or popular? Famous?
Popular? Yeah, famous. Sorry, famous. It's going to be more like.
Thierry Henry could be the answer.
Yeah, but Hollywood famous. Who has the most Instagram followers that you have met due to soccer? Type person.
I don't know. Wow.
I mean, it could be no.
I know that Boston, they're letting you guys get out in Boston. You're going to Red Sox games. You're probably getting to go to all those concerts, any concert you want, right?
No. No, I don't know. Because I'm not super into Hollywood and knowing people. I guess everyone is, so I shouldn't say that. But
Tom Brady. Have you met Tom Brady?
I've walked by him, but no, haven't met him. I guess I went to a James White charity event a year or two ago. James White, really good guy for the Patriots, running back.
Yeah, I was going to ask who it was.
I saw some blank faces. I saw some blank faces over there. I had to give a little background.
Okay, well, so that's fair. That's fair. So really what you're telling us is that the most famous person that you've met due to soccer is Thierry Henry.
Yeah, probably. We've played. I grew up in idolizing David Beckham.
Who'd you get?
And I missed him by a year in the league. So he retired, and then I was disappointed in that. I would have loved to play against Becks.
Would you have kicked him, or just given him extra distance?
Probably tried to kick him, but I don't know.
I love it, Scott. I love it. All right, well, we're gonna get you off the hot seat. We've been grilling with some tough ones here.
The fans, that's good.
The fan questions.
You might have started a new tradition.
I know.
Our 6 listeners that
I love it.
May come up.
Well, thanks again for your time today, Scotty. Hopefully we'll get to see you here in the next, 6-8 months in person in Providence or Central Falls. And we'll be celebrating the completion of a really cool project.
Yeah, I hope so. That would be awesome. Got to keep pushing this out and hope that a great cause gets, a great field.
Well, thanks for taking the time today, Scotty. You're the man.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, Steves, that was a fun little chat. Some good banter. I thought we had Scotty going there a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, it was good. We kind of we talked right before this when you called him Keith that he was smiling, laughing. I think it was he at least seemed to enjoy it more than most of our guests do.
Yeah, absolutely. Fan questions and the live studio audience always make things just a little bit better, don't they?
They do.
Well, to that note,
how can people go and donate here to the Central Falls mini pitch, Ben?
Yeah. Oh man, I've memorized this. It's a good thing. It's www.kifsoccer.org/Central Falls mini pitch. Check it out. Pretty cool little video from the mayor there talking about the project and talking about project goal. And then kick it forward here in town. We're still working away, trying to build mini pitches all over the state. So if you're into the old mini pitch initiative, slide into our DMs. We've actually got we've got 2 or 3 deals working based entirely on our DMs right now.
You're right.
I would say that's probably a first for both of us. So don't forget, you can find us on Twitter at kick.it. Nope, kick. God, Blake, your consistency with this. Okay, sorry. Twitter is kick_forward. Instagram is kick .it.forward. Facebook is at Kick It Forward IA. TikTok, I don't even know if it exists. YouTube, check us out there too. We've been uploading some cool videos there. And then, of course, you can follow us, our podcast, on anywhere that you subscribe to podcasts. Is that all we got?
That's it.
Sweet. See you guys next week.